but I think change is what creates opportunities. I think the entire digital ecosystem has not changed much in a long time, which I think limits opportunities for everyone. I for sure think it's going to be challenging times, right? Anytime there's change, there's challenges. I do think a lot of agencies will go out of business, but I think opportunities are going to be everywhere. And I'm very excited about the future and how rapidly it's changing.
Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of Future Fuzz, the digital marketing podcast with a B2B focus. Today I'm joined by Alex Melen, who is the founder of an award-winning best-selling author and a true digital pioneer. He's a co-founder of SmartSites, a digital marketing agency that has exploded from a handful of visionaries into a global force with over 400 employees across 6 offices. SmartSites is consistently featured in Adweek and the Inc. 5000 for its remarkable growth, and it's known as America's top-rated digital marketing agency thanks to its data-driven, customer-centric approach. Alex, thanks very much for joining the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I almost, as you were reading it, Inc. 5000, I think their list's supposed to come out in like a week. So we're on there for the 9th year now. I was trying to do the math whether we're on 10 year, but I think this year is 9. So 9 years in a row on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing agencies.
Amazing. So we'll have to do some cross promo when this goes out.
Yeah, absolutely.
9 years in a row is pretty impressive. Like how do you manage that? What's been the driving force behind that?
Great question, and I'm waiting for the they do a big gala for the Inc. 5000 recipients, and I went there. So I founded the company with my younger brother. We went there, I think, our first year, and I'm waiting for the 10-year mark to go again. So not this year, but maybe next year. And at the 10-year mark, I'll go. But yeah, I think that's certainly the challenge. And talking to people at that gala when I went on the first year, I remember it was a lot of companies who are there one time when they're like the big spurt, right? Like you start year 1, you make no revenue. Year 2, year 3, you explode and you're there and like you're super happy. Oh my God. But the question is, how do you maintain that growth, right? To be there, we're going to be, this is our 9th year. We've averaged about 35% year-over-year growth every single year.
Yeah, since 2011, you've averaged 35% year-on-year growth.
Yeah, and it's, what can I say? I would say 35% is our minimum per year. So it's not even, I think the average is probably higher. There was a big spurt of maybe 5-6 years where we were doubling in size every 18 to 24 months, so both in revenue and headcount. So for sure, I think that for sure is the impressive part, and I am very excited for the 10-year mark. I think that's more of a round number to attend the gala again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think making on the Inc. 5000 is certainly, I think, a big thing to celebrate and definitely challenging.
Yeah,
but I think it's a whole different level to be there every single year, meaning that you can't have any off years. You have to keep going and firing on all cylinders every single year.
But let me dive into one thing you said there briefly. So you co-founded the agency with your brother, your little brother. Yeah. You're still working together.
Yes. So that's an interesting one. So it's when we did it, there was definitely a lot of hesitation from our family about it, because you hear a lot of like very bad stories about that, right?
Bust ups and stuff. Yeah.
You're not supposed to be working with your family. I think that's the golden rule. But I think we're very fortunate that we're just very different. Like our personalities are polar opposites, and because of that, what we do at the company is very different. So we overlap on very few things. So
that's great.
It's not like we're like day to day working on the same task together. We have very separate areas of responsibility that we didn't even have to define. That came naturally just because we have different interests and different personalities. So very fortunate to be in that position, that there's someone else at the company that I could trust at that kind of level, and it's not just purely on me. So it's for sure one of the trickier things. As I talk to business owners, I've heard horror stories that go in both directions. A horror story of the single entrepreneur, founder, president, whatever you want to call it, where everything's on that person.
Right, and they burn out.
Like he can't take a day off, right? Like he can't take flights that have no Wi-Fi, that kind of scenario. And then the flip side of people taking on partners that they have horrible experiences with, that don't carry their weight, that tank the company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate where I haven't had to deal with either side of that extreme.
So we need to get you and your brother on another podcast, and it's going to
Okay,
be titled "How Two Brothers Grew a
that's a good one.
Multi-Million-Dollar
I
Agency,"
like it.
and then like just make sure that you don't argue while you're on the show together, right?
Yeah, we don't want to ruin the episode. No, luckily we don't argue much. But yeah, I think that for sure would be good. I think that's for sure. I think a big pain point for founders. And
Yeah,
and I remember there was a speaking. So I do a lot of public speaking. I was asked to do a session how founders decide whether to take on a partner or not. And I remember that was like a very big pain point for founders. So for sure, I think I'm in.
yeah.
I'll get him in also.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, one thing that I definitely learned from my side is that the overlap is key, right? And pulling your weight. There's two things that
Yeah,
really stand out for me working with
yeah,
co-founders and running companies as well. It's that I really appreciate what you say there, and I agree with you 100%. This overlap is key. Like you focus on your thing, you focus on, I'll focus on my thing, and trust each other to do that and get it done, right? Because once there starts to be a little bit of overlap, you're like, it may be a bit
and it has to
begrudging
be,
about it.
yeah, for sure, and it has to be people that are passionate about those different things, right? Like for
Yeah.
example, like I'm a numbers person. I do the accounting finance side, right?
Okay.
It's just like that's my thing. He hates numbers, finance, account. Like he like this dislikes it greatly. So it works out that way, but it has to be that way, right? If like
Right.
both of us were very into like doing the accounting finance stuff, for sure there'd be a lot more friction.
Yeah. I've got one burning question, Alex,
Yeah.
because you're coming at it from an agency point of view, and this is going to be on a completely different subject. There's so much panic in the market right now about search marketing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
ChatGPT is disrupting, large language models are
Yes.
disrupting content. You know, like a lot of agencies getting hit. A lot of agencies, their clients are saying,
Yes.
"Get me on ChatGPT. When
Yeah.
someone asks a question, I want to be the answer." Right? Google interface has changed. You know, you type a search query into Google right now, you're getting an answer often at the top of the query. You're not getting an advertisement. You've seen it all, right? Over the
Yes.
past years. What are your thoughts on where this is going?
Oh man, this itself could be like a 1 hour long podcast. I know we don't have that much time. Geez, and I tend to go off of tangents, so I'll try to stay focused on because I think it is a very big topic. So I've been involved with internet space since 1997. I started my first tech company in 97, one of the first web hosting companies, predating the start of Google. So indeed, I have seen it all. We are a very Google centric agency and always have been because we also have a very good relationship with Google. A lot of it is because as opposed to a lot of other agencies who just fight for the client and Google could care less which agency manages the client, we do a lot of website creation. So we've been over the last 14 years now, brought a lot of net new business to Google, meaning roofers, plumbers, pavers who don't have a website. If they don't have a website, guess what? They can't be on Google Ads. They can't be part of the
Right.
Google ecosystem. They can't even have a Google email address because they are not online. So because of that, I have a lot of exposure to all of this. What can I say? It's for sure the first time since we started using the internet as a search engine. And for those who have been around long enough, Yahoo was primarily not a search engine, right? The philosophy of Yahoo was a directory. Their idea of how people use the internet is kind of like a yellow pages, right? That was their concept. Ever since we switched to using the internet as a search engine, I think this is the first existential threat to the entire model, right?
Okay.
Um, which I think is creating all the anxiety and things that you're seeing. So looking at facts, the searches on Google are actually going up. So
Yeah,
for sure, people are using generative AI, but searches are going up. Looking at the facts,
that's good.
but there's for sure existential threat. For the first time in God knows how long, about a year and a half ago, there was a Google all hands on deck meeting that I was a part of, and all of a sudden Sergey Brin was on that Zoom call, right? He's co-founder of Google. He's been like on an island, retired, like in a hammock, right? He's
Right.
been he's been out of the picture. He literally came back because it is existential threat because
Existential threat. Yeah.
for all of a sudden, consumer behaviors could shift away from search. And if you think about it, we've become a very search-centric, not even country, but world
Mm.
where I don't know if any scenario you could think of, you come home and I've used this example before, so anyone who's heard me before might have heard it, but you come home, your pipe's leaking in the basement, right? Like literally water's coming out of the pipe burst. First thing you're going to do is take out your cell phone and on your cell phone search plumber, emergency plumber near me or something like that,
Right.
right? We've literally are very search centric. It's become mobile centric. But that's literally how we find all of our information. And now for the first time ever, that's changing, and it's changing very rapidly. And the new way is better in a lot of sense, in a lot of cases. For example, I don't know. What's a big pain point? Recipe websites. If you ever search for any kind of recipe to like bake something, I'll walk you through the process for people who have not. You'll go on Google, you search for a recipe, you'll get 10,000 different recipe websites. When you click on them, you're going to get like 3 pop-ups, probably going to get 20
Yeah.
banner ads.
At least.
Your computer will probably be infected with a virus. At the end of it, you're just going to be like blue screen of death, and that's it. You're like, I'm out. I'm not making this apple pie, right? Now all of a sudden you have generative AI. You go into generative AI, you type in, give me apple pie recipe,
Yeah, you get one straight away. Boom. Yeah.
and not only that, you could be like, well, guess what? These are the only ingredients I have on me. Give me a recipe with these specific ingredients, and you know what? Give it to me line by line, so as I'm preparing, I could see the line items, right? You didn't get any pop-ups, banners, advertising. Your computer
Right.
didn't get infected with a virus. So for sure, very disruptive. I could also tell you that the amount of spam I get, and I get a lot of spam, being in the digital space and having the same email address for a long time, lends itself to that. I get a lot of spam. All my spam used to be for like blog posts and link
Right.
building and
Link building.
backlinks,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all of a sudden I'm getting posts for geo, generative engine optimization. So and I think the spammers are usually the opportunists who are first to market on it. So to go back to your original question, I think there is a lot of change happening. I think search use continues to be actually going up. People searching, right? People clicking onto websites from search is for sure going down. I think that's going to be a big thing that's going to change. Being at an internal Microsoft meeting in March outside of the US that they held specifically for top agency owners, the way Microsoft presented it is that there's going to be less clicks organically and paid from search results, but those clicks will be more valuable.
They'll be more valuable, yeah. But it
Yeah,
kind of feel
and
like I kind
yeah,
of feel like Gary Vaynerchuk already predicted this, and I know
yes,
he says a lot of stuff, and there's so much
yeah,
volume that comes out of Gary V's mouth
yes,
that he's going to get some stuff right. But he did make a very good point. It's like in the end, because let's say the proliferation of content is going to be so massive that
yeah.
when you get the engagement or the click or the conversion or whatever you're going to call it, it's going to be very expensive, but it'll be worth it, right? You know, he
Correct. It becomes,
predicted, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And that's Microsoft's approach. I mean, from one standpoint, what other explanation would they give, right? Like they're not, I don't know, they're not going to go and tell agency owners everyone's going to start getting less clicks and pay more for those clicks, and you're going to be okay with it, right?
right.
So from one side, it's a little bit of an excuse, but for sure, the clicks that we're losing are the informational research clicks, not the purchase clicks. And aside from all of this, ChatGPT just announced that they're going to have agents that are going to do shopping for you. So all of this
Right.
is rapidly changing.
Yeah.
But for the time being, I'm not seeing any decrease in organic search traffic or paid search in any way that is different from what we've seen in prior years, right? Every
With
year,
bunch. Yeah.
your average cost per click on Google Ads will get higher, right? And like
Right.
that's two things I could tell you, right? That you're gonna or I think the saying is like death and taxes, right? It's this is the third one. It's like the only sure things in life is death, taxes, and your average CPCs will go up every year. So
We
so
need to
they
quote that.
yes. So the average CPCs are going up. Surprise, surprise, right? But they've been
Yeah.
going up every single year, right? And I
Yeah.
remember when I first started my hosting company, I remember being very frustrated when Google implemented like the minimum CPCs of like 10 cents. And I'm like,
Right.
who's paying 10 cents for these clicks? So clicks go up, the cost goes up every year. So
Yeah.
it went up this year, but I think nothing outside of the norm is
That's
happening
normal.
right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, I think
Right.
it's
Right.
normal. So
Yeah.
strategies need to shift a little bit, right? If you're, I don't know, if you're a recipe website, if literally, and I talk to a lot of, I talk to at affiliate marketing conferences and people who are much greater impacted by this than the local SMB, right? If you're a recipe website, you're going to be severely impacted, right? You're going to be hit.
Future Fuzz is sponsored by SalesSource, B2B pipeline management and sales growth for your business.
Let me tell
Yeah.
you about a funny story about raising of prices. But like pre-COVID, I knew TikTok was going to be pretty popular. So I bought the website tiktokadvertising.com. I went on GoDaddy, I bought tiktokadvertising.com, and I paid something like $20 for it.
Yeah.
I ran ads on it. The leads came tumbling in. We were killing it. And it was so early with TikTok that I had to
Yeah.
call someone based in China. They gave me access to the system, and a lot of it was still in
Yeah.
Chinese, right?
That's
This is
crazy.
like really early on.
Yeah.
It was an amazing 9 months. We had the best time ever. We were running TikTok ads. We were spending 5 cents CPM on
That's
TikTok
crazy.
ads.
That's crazy.
It was so much fun. And then, the pricing very, very quickly went up. Very, very quickly because the demand started to increase, right?
Yeah.
And then we received a letter from ByteDance's lawyers, and they
Please
were
don't
like,
do this anymore.
don't do
Yeah.
this anymore. We were like, it's fine. We had great 9 months. See you later. But what I'm trying to say there is that within 9 months, price
Yeah.
increase was incredible. I should have tracked it. I really should have tracked it.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising that these things are going to happen, but that's really key and need to really hit that home is that people that like base kind of on knowledge economy searches like
Yeah.
recipe websites and that kind of thing, and they are terrible, aren't they? They're going to get hit.
The user
They're in
experience
trouble.
is terrible. That's why the
Yeah,
opportunity is there. If the user experience on Google for apple pie recipe was so amazing,
yeah,
no one would have been moving those searches over anywhere else.
yeah.
So
I've got
yeah,
to ask. I've got to ask you
yeah,
another one. I've
okay.
got to ask you one more thing as well. So, what's your feeling about video content, both in B2B and B2C standpoint? Where's that going?
Yeah, good question. So as an agency, we were never super heavy on video. I know a lot of agencies that are. I think video, obviously, especially short form, has become very popular in recent times with TikTok. TikTok probably drove all of that, right? YouTube Shorts came out because of TikTok. Um, I think it's tough from the agency perspective. I think what's going to be important video is authenticity, and it's something very difficult to create at an agency level, right? Like I could guide a local business, like we do a lot of stuff with automotive, with car dealerships, right?
Yeah, you
For
wrote a
me,
book about it, right?
yes, 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 yes. It's funny. I wanted to do a book on every industry, but it's such a story for another time.
You could
So
do a
dealership.
podcast on every industry. Don't
We
worry about it.
we we perfect. Book up my whole calendar. Um, so for a dealership, I could go and have a video produced, and people do, right? So car dealerships do a lot of video. They do the local TV ads that I'm sure you've seen, like the
Yeah.
with like the guy on the lot and like come on down, right?
Love
So
it.
I could do video ads like that, video creative. I could for sure, even though it's not our core strength, I could find a video production company, right? But it's not what gets attention these days, and it's not what gets the correct attention, right? Um, Authenticity becomes very important. So for video, I think it almost pushed to the SMB, right? Like I could do amazing advertising marketing with a video, but in terms of creation, I would love for the business themselves to be creating something not polished, like literally on the ground floor. I don't know, I've recommended to several of my dealership clients to just find an employee they already have that's just enthusiastic about it, whether they're
Right.
enthusiastic now or they want to learn it, right? I think that's where video has been heading. I think it's the authentic, unpolished, on the ground versus the big media production polished off video. I think that's where the attention is going with video.
Yeah, that's really, really fascinating. You say that, like just with an iPhone 16 Pro,
Yeah,
right, which they can get, that someone
yeah,
who works in that organization can get out there and start making shots, and you're bang on with authenticity. I think, maybe not like baby boomer generation. I think they're more used to polished advertising. That's my feeling anyway. But
yeah,
millennials, Gen Zs, they want to have it real, right? They don't mind if it's a bit
I
tatty
think
around the
even the
edges.
older folks, like, right, you're at a dealership, you do literally a walkthrough around the dealership with your cell phone. I don't know, light editing on it.
Yeah.
This is our service center, show like cars being worked on. I think even the older generation would appreciate that versus the typical like generic stuff that used to get produced.
Yeah, I think there's something in it. Then there's also great tools out there. I'm going to name drop Veed, like Veed.io, where we had Sam, who's the VP of product. He came on the podcast a few weeks
Oh,
ago.
very cool.
Yeah, it's an amazing platform. We use it as well. You chuck in your clips, you put in a prompt,
Yeah,
and it makes suggestions for you. It's like, oh, this is how I would edit it, and I put
that
that
stuff
graphic
has
in
gotten
here, and then
so
bam.
all that stuff's gotten so amazing. There's a bunch of different tools, and I won't name any competing brands, but there's a bunch of different tools. You literally you shoot your long form video, you walked around the dealership, you filmed your 3 minutes, pop it in there, and I'll chop it up for you in small clips to share on different social media platforms, all automatically.
Right. Yeah.
And these tools are like a bunch are free and a bunch are, I would say, near free, right? Like the $9 a month kind of services.
Yeah. Or they get you in at $9 though, right, Alex? And then you have to
Yes,
scale up.
yes,
But it's
and then
worth it. It's a good
yes,
investment.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, 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 for
Is
sure.
there anything you're very excited about for the future? Are there any sort of things that you and your team are doing? You're opening new offices. Where are you seeing the most growth?
Yeah, good question. I'm excited for change, and I know a lot of people would say the opposite, right? But I think change is what creates opportunities. I think the entire digital ecosystem has not changed much in a long time, which I think limits opportunities for everyone. I for sure think it's going to be challenging times, right? Anytime there's change, there's challenges. I do think a lot of agencies will go out of business. But I think opportunities are going to be everywhere. And I'm very excited about the future and how rapidly it's changing. Um, I haven't seen consumer behaviors change so rapidly in a very, very long time. And I haven't seen such a big shakeup to the industry, to perception, to everything. And I'll give you a good example. Microsoft obviously is partnered with ChatGPT, although their Copilot is its own thing now, and they're actually considering using different AI models, not just ChatGPT. But Microsoft, I don't know, not counting the last 2 years, right? Looking back a little further, when's the last time anyone's been excited about anything from Microsoft, right? Like, have you been lining up at your local store for like the latest version of Windows?
Yeah,
I don't know,
no.
Microsoft. I don't know. Calendar invite for when the latest Microsoft Office is gonna drop? Are you like,
Well, I
or you wait?
celebrated when like Internet Explorer imploded, so no, I haven't been queuing
Right,
up.
exactly.
That's a
No,
good
no,
point.
that's
Yeah.
exactly it.
Yeah.
And then for their, I'm trying to think. I think the last time there was excitement about Microsoft. I don't know if you've seen this video. For those that have not, you should go on YouTube and look it up. Windows 95 came out, and you see where Steve Ballmer's on stage dancing. Have you
Yeah, I
seen
love
this
that.
one?
Yeah, yeah.
With like confetti coming down. I think that was the last time everyone was like excited, like lining up for Windows 95. With all this AI stuff, I think when all this started coming out, when Edge introduced Copilot integration, they had 1 million people sign up for the beta
Wow.
within 1 hour.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Microsoft,
Yeah.
like who's signing up for it, right? So the speed at which perceptions are changing is just
It's
mind-boggling, and
mind-boggling. Yeah.
it creates such crazy opportunity. Like Microsoft, who is, by the way, Microsoft's a great company. I have nothing bad to say about them. They've provided amazing support to us on the advertising side. And I think as a company, they're doing a lot of right things
Of
where
course. Yeah.
Google might not be right now. I have to be careful what I say publicly, but
Of course. Yeah.
I think they're a great company, but there was just not the perceptions for their brand wasn't something that was like super, super exciting, both from the consumer side and employment side, like people wanting to work there, right? How quickly they were able to shift perceptions. And now all of a sudden and Microsoft, by the way, missed the boat on a couple of things, right? They missed the boat a little bit on search engines, right? They could have been bigger than Google, right? They missed the phone, they missed the boat a little bit on mobile, right? They have no presence on mobile. Like, have you ever used Bing
Yeah.
on your mobile device?
I don't think they even like purchased an SSP, did they? I think
They
they tried to build a
no.
bidder, right? I mean, they didn't do anything in the ad space very well.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
And on mobile, they have literally, we became a world of mobile. Everyone uses their cell phone. I don't think anyone has Bing as their search
No.
engine on mobile, right? I think their mobile search volume is like zero.
But the results that come from ChatGPT when it's a search query, is that coming from Bing or is that coming from anywhere?
So the assumptions, let's put it that way, the assumptions from the SEO community is that Bing is powering most of it.
Right.
The relationship between, I again have to be careful what I say publicly because I've gotten in trouble doing these podcasts before. The
Okay.
relationship between Microsoft and ChatGPT is um, is more fluid than people realize. I think both ChatGPT is considering other sources of data, and Microsoft, I think, views Copilot as the product. And I think Microsoft's belief is in the future, what AI model powers it won't be as important as the product. And I could see Microsoft powering Copilot by different models in the future, like one
Yeah.
model for these kind of searches, one for another. So it's not, I just want to make it clear that Microsoft Copilot is not ChatGPT and ChatGPT is not Microsoft Copilot. They're not
Right.
like exactly the same thing, but for now, a lot of ChatGPT is powered by Bing searches for
Bing
sure.
searches, yeah,
Yeah,
that's definitely interesting stuff. And I'm very curious, and this is a whole other podcast as well. It's
yeah.
like when is OpenAI going to float on the stock exchange? When are they going to spin it off? They've got a huge bill to pay. I think it's something like $62 billion gap in the finances, right? When is the business model going to come about? Because it can't go on.
Yeah,
It can't go on like this forever. But one thing I have to say from our discussion today, Alex, is like I really enjoy your candidness. Don't worry, we'll edit stuff out so you don't get into
that's why
trouble.
everything I've said has been good. I've gotten
Yeah,
much better. I've gotten
good.
much better after getting in trouble a couple times.
We'll get the lawyers to
Yeah,
check it.
yeah,
And the one thing that's really hitting home as well is like looking like so we've been doing some research on SmartSites. It's like it's
yeah,
impressive. Global team, the growth is amazing. And I think what really hits home to me is like the strength of the SMB market, right? The smaller businesses, the entrepreneurs, the car dealerships that
yeah.
you have so many of those kind of clients. I think from what I'm seeing is like that's gonna get you through some of the rough times because that's a huge market and you've obviously built some
Um,
amazing
for
trust there.
for sure. What can I say? Probably yes and no. We are very SMB heavy, and as part of our core goals is helping SMBs manage the digital landscape, right? That's our core
Yeah,
business goal. On the flip side, though, during things like COVID, we were probably more impacted
you were
than
impacted.
agencies who are
Yeah.
not. Yes,
Okay.
like we had, I don't know, we have 10% of our clients had restaurants, let's say, right? That closed overnight, like 24 hours, that business is gone, right? We
Gone.
had
Yeah.
a big client who was a travel agency for cruise ships that's been around for 121 years. They went out of business in 2 weeks. Two
Wow.
weeks. The
Wow.
2 weeks is all it took. Isn't that
Okay.
crazy?
Yeah.
So
That is
for
crazy.
sure, during catastrophes, SMBs are probably less insulated, right? But yeah, I think in the long term, I think our mission has not changed with the generative AI and everything. Our mission is still to help SMBs get discovered and get business from the digital space, let's call it.
Yeah.
So I do think that for sure
But do you
is
want to go for
the
big? Are you thinking like long-term strategy is to go for bigger companies as well in
yeah.
the
So
portfolio? Yeah.
very interesting question. So we don't do we're probably unique where we don't do any outbound marketing. So what I mean by that is we advertise ourselves, and then who calls us is who calls us. So we do get some big business coming in also because again, we don't control the inbound. A lot of like the enterprise Fortune 500 companies are not going to find their agency of choice doing an internet search. It's a lot more
Word of mouth, right? Networking. Yeah. And
networking and
content.
like that kind of stuff. So that
Yeah.
naturally has an effect. But for sure, we big companies as well. Our approach, and that's one of the reasons we are in every industry. We're industry agnostic. No industry is more than 10% of what we do. The reason it works in every industry is because as long as you're data focused, we do what I like to call performance marketing. So there's a lot of companies that do like wishy-washy up in the air kind of stuff. We do
Right.
performance marketing where we get you leads and business. I think that model works whether you have one office or you have 5,000 employees. I think that model will
That
continue
model
to be
works.
valid with the invention, whether generative AI becomes a thing, not a thing. I think our mission is to help businesses get found. I think maybe operationally we make tweaks, and we're already doing some generative engine optimization. And I have a speech coming up actually on the signals for generative engine optimization. So we're certainly doing that as well. But our overall mission is to help businesses get found online and to be successful online. I think that mission has not been impacted by generative AI and all the change that's happening.
Brilliant. Alex, it's been absolutely amazing speaking to you. Thanks for taking the time while you're actually on vacation.
Yeah,
so
no worries.
Just a pleasure. Covered so much good stuff there. We're going to get so much good content out of it, and definitely some good quotes too. Thanks very much for joining the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in and making the choice to listen to this podcast. If you liked what you've heard today, please don't forget to subscribe.